Hello, everyone. Alright, there we go. Hey, Taze. Bungmac is back. Yeah, the Bungman is back. Lord Bung, I have a question. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, Sammy. This is slow mode? Holy hell. Yeah, it's just the start. The start just be like that sometimes. This is probably fine. Just vibing today? Yeah, you know it. But I found some old movie posters that I decided to share. These were from some of my favorite movies from the time. Hey Orion, what's up? Bung Bung, guess what? What you want, boy? Lord Bung, you have a question. I do? Yeah, probably. I have a lot of questions. Try to pronounce my name? Okay, I'm Lena Doofenshmirtz. Is your name just that close to Doofenshmirtz? It's infuriating. I'm so jealous. Why is Squizzy a VTuber now? She does what she wants, you know? Your animations have inspired me to do cartoons. It's good, you know? It's one thing to just draw people realistically, but it's an entirely different thing to just follow your gut and just draw what feels right, you know? Please don't mute me again. I'm not the one that's muting, it's my mods. And only if you behave. It's me, Kokichi Oma, for the Nintendo Switch. I don't think that's a question, alright? Is that how you feel? Drop the Ken list again. I hate you. I can the El Diablo from Despicable Me 2. That's who I can. That's who I am. Your animations are great. You have my respect. Thank you. Thank you, Leonard. Love your drawings. Thank you, Gabby. Why are you so cool? I'm not that cool. I'm pretty cool, but I'm just here. I'm just chilling. How many seasons will Confinement have? Ooh, that's a question that I can only answer when we come to it. It kind of has to be, if I feel like continuing, then it could hypothetically go on forever. When we gonna have more Confinement? Please read me. I read you soon. It's just, I don't know how long. It's hard for me to calculate these things because I'm not a business person, I'm an artist. What happened to Mr. Cyclone? He's still around. I don't know what, if anything is, if he's died recently. Did he die? That would be upsetting. He was one of my housemates. Shaking my head. Your kin gave me kin trauma since I kin grew. We can't talk anymore. Our kins are unaligned. Our kins are enemy in the fucking Blue Sky universe. I don't know who animates Despicable Me. Oh, Illumination Studios, my bad. Yeah, but where's the next episode? You're just gonna have to wait. Just gonna have to be patient. I'm still making it. Just got here. You doing okay? Yeah, Dr. Whitney, I'm doing quite alright. In fact, I'm gonna drink some fucking vegetable juice just to show how alright I am. Shit. That's some good juice. You drunk, Bung? Nah. Friendship ended with Lord Bung. He kins problematic. It plays an overweight man in Despicable Me too. Take your time, King. We love you. I love you, Taze. How long do you draw every day? Right now, it's a minimum of 3 hours a day minus the days off. So 5 days a week, I would draw for at least 3 hours. Or if I'm particularly sick, then it might be just like 2 hours. Because some days I just wake up and it's terrible. But most days are bearable enough that I can do it. You know. Helper is amazing with 2 L's. I bookmarked it. Like I don't know if you were the one that suggested it to me, but I bookmarked it. I haven't read it yet. Do you plan on adding any canon gods or characters from SCP and Confinement maybe in Season 2 if you make it? Possibly. I actually do have a few ideas for like some big SCPs, but they're not really related too much to the main story. It's always like spin-off stories. Like I wanted to do a Corn Man episode. I'm pretty sure I can still do it, just have to wait until Confinement's over. When will the next episode not come out? Oh, yesterday. Oh, shucks. Yeah, Taze. I love you specifically. And nobody else on the planet. We're running away, Taze. We're running away, and we're gonna get weed legalized in your state or something. If you ask when the next episode is, I'm gonna time you out or just mute your comments, so don't. Oh, Orion isn't giving a fuck today. Alright, Orion's fulfilling my wishes in the most efficient way. Say you love us all, dum-dum. I do love you all. I do have a kind of love. Yeah. Just not to make it sound too intense, I do love you all. Like you all have these... You all collectively create a kind of realm for me. In which I get to blather on and talk to my lovely children like I'm already this old man, you know, in the middle of the tent in some tribal community. And I'm giving you some kind, because like for some reason everyone's listening to me, so I'm giving you all this wisdom. Weed's legal where I am. We can disappear into the swamps. All right, let's do that. We'll be swamp men. Make the next quality SCP episode, please. I am. I'm not sure why I keep reading, even though I know, like, I just read every now and then, like, a comment that I feel like reading, and there's no logic to it. It's just my brain's like, psh. What if God came down from the heavens and called you a nerd? Nerd means enthusiast, so I don't see the problem with that. Will Alfred ever appear on stream? You know what? I'll bring over Alfred right now, just to get it out of the way, because it hasn't been done yet, you know? I'm gonna run my cat. Here he is, here he is, here he is, here he is. Here he is. Wow. It's okay, you can chill out. He doesn't like being picked up. So I'm gonna do it anyway. Look at him. Ah! Oh my god. I'm sorry, little boy. You do what you gotta. Well, you're in my seat now. So you better get up. Get up. If you can see him, he's just... He refuses to leave. Ignore my shitty laundry over there. It's just kind of overflowing right now. But it's like the clean clothes that I'm treating like dirty clothes. It's clean though. Alright, Kitty, you stay over there. Oh, you go wherever you want. Alright, hope everybody got a nice fill of my boy Alfie. What if God came down from heaven and he said it's pronounced Jod? Whoa, Thanks, Overlord4412, for the $5. Oh, the cat's still in my room. Look. Got him. Da, da, dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. We got cats. We got cats. He's looking. Get him. Got his ass. Do your laundry, King. I did do my laundry. It's all, that's clean. It's just, that's the, I take it out. I took it out from the drying rack, the clothesline, and then I just throw it all into one big basket, and then I sort them out. These are only my clothes that don't require ironing, you know, like t-shirts and the ones that don't get like crinkly and foldy and boxy. I sense time is an illusion. It is. It's interesting that you sense that. What a wonderful place it must be to feel like you're dreaming while you're awake. That's one of my favorite lines from season 1 of American Gods. Is that one character is having such a hard time because everything feels like it's a dream. You making a noise? He's making a noise. I wonder if you could hear that. Why are you so sad? He sounds sad, but that's just because his face looks sad. So I just assume everything he does is sad. Alfie! Hey boy. Oh, now you're being affectionate when there's a camera on. This little goober. What would you do if I kinned your cat? Well, I didn't realize my cat was gay. Haha. It's okay. I'm gay as fuck too, so I'm allowed to make fun of my fellow gay friends. Cat is speaking. What wisdom do they share? Not much. Hey, thank you for the Filipino pesos. Hey, you're from the Philippines. Well, I don't know a lot of Tagalog, but maraming salamat po for the 50 pesos. Now he's tearing up my little bed. He's trying to... There's a part of my bed that feels like a scratching post, so he's just... a little gremlin. I literally got my sisters to watch SCP Confinement. I hope they're not too little because it's a bit violent, but thank you. I appreciate it. Have you seen Interface or Dead Sounds work? I can hear your cat, so cute. I'm glad. I've seen Interface. I really like Interface, but I haven't heard Dead Sounds work, so I should check that out. School search. Oh, you mean just like the work of the creator Dead Sounds? But I'm confirmed gay and homophobic. The best combo. The pic in bottom left, there's a take in Denmark. Yes, it's this film starring Mads Mikkelsen. It's really great. It's called The Hunt in English. Yo, my dude, you forgot to erase 2 lines over the lady's head in the Yachten drawing. Yeah, I did. It's a very, if I full screen it, but thank you for the $5, Dan. If I full screen it, the entire thing is just a sketch. It's just like, I had a plan to straighten it out, but I was actually weirdly attracted to how imperfect it was. I don't know why. Beds are evil, so the cats say. I guess that's the wisdom. Oh. He's sitting so close to my chair, I almost rolled him over. Is your bum better? It is, but lately it's been kind of weird. Like if I sit, no matter how comfortably and properly I sit, my ass ends up hurting. I wonder if any of you are ass scientists and will help me with this dilemma. I didn't know Terry Crews is streaming Danganronpa for charity. You should do it too. My answer to that is I'm not Terry Crews. I'm not a weeb. Got his ass. destroyed. Yeah, hey, Orion, I know you're a mod. Can you ban yourself for being destroyed? Hey, do you know Imagine Dragons? I know of them. Get out of my swamp! Sorry, somebody asked me to say that in chat. Hey, I'm from Denmark. Also, hello from Denmark. Big fan. Thank you, Pronkstar. Hello from Australia. I hope you have a... I don't know any Danish. I hope you have a wonderful day. Put cat in lap. Cat doesn't like sitting in lap. Cat doesn't even like sitting in proximity. It shows up for a hug, and then it leaves. It's like, okay, this is my affection for today, and just fucks off. It's probs your tailbone. Okay. 7 haircut bong around my dumb. I mean, I shave down the back and the sides every now and then, just to keep this pot kind of long and fresh. And beautiful. Try meditating. There is no great place to sit. Is that true? There's just like no actual great place to sit. And I do meditate. It's just that when I work, it's different. Like when I meditate, I can feel the pain and it's just like, that's a part of me, that's fine, it's chill. But then when I'm working, it's like, I'm sort of unconsciously moving and trying to deal with it. The philosophy of chilling? Yeah, the philosophy of chilling. Sitting down for long periods of time can hurt your tailbone. Yeah, but what's long periods of time? Like, it just takes an hour for me, and I work here, you know. Maybe I should get a standing desk. But I am like really fat, so my legs will just get tired. It'd be like that. Pickle juice. Have you tried manipulation on your cat? I don't know what you mean by manipulation. Like, I pick them up off the ground. That's probably the most manipulation I can do. I'd be up for playing Minecraft for a charity or an event. That'd be fun as hell. Yeah, I recently got back into I can run the new mod pack server on my Discord, so I could probably do that now. I wasn't able to do it with the last one. Drink Viking blood and gain their powers. Who needs to meditate when you can get all your rage out by screaming and swinging an axe around? Thank you, Nail Smith. I'll consider that. What's your favorite Beetlejuice song? It always used to be the one between Lydia and Delia, where like one's hyper positive and one's hyper negative. That one's always fun. But I don't know now. I'm gonna have to go back because it's been a real while. Squat and push-up streams? Yeah, if you just want to see like a tired fat man just doing exercises, that'll be fun. Always miss your streams, but here I am. Thank you for joining, Monkey Gaming. Spin the cat. Spin the cat. You got a girlfriend? Nah, not at the moment. Can you zoom in on the sketches? Yeah, sure. I'm trying to zoom in on this one. Oh, okay. Well, I forgot there was a sort of layering hierarchy here. Hold up. There's under the skin. This one's not super detailed because I really wanted to go with what was going on in the image, if you could see. Like with the shadow. Good Times, great movie if you want to feel really stressed out for no reason. Starring Robert Pattinson, directed by the Rafty. The Rafty brothers, I think. Let me just check that. Sorry, the Safdie brothers. Safdie brothers, yeah. Benny and Josh Safdie directed Good Time. I definitely recommend it if you want like a really high octane, not like an action one, just like an intense kind of drama about a guy trying to get his brother out of jail. It's like the lengths he would go to, and it's kind of filmed in this sort of like one take from Robert Pattinson's perspective of just his entire crazy night, and he's on acid the whole time, and he's just like, it's crazy. I definitely recommend it. I can't imagine how it feels for so many people to only talk about a single type of video you make. How do you deal with it when you want to do something different? Yeah, just deal with it. It's the way it is. I don't know what else to say. Hey, Vonnie. Like, I already know I'm making the episode. I don't need other people to tell me I'm making the episode. This is not a case of, like, I want to pretend I'm not making the episode because I'm working on it 5 days a week. I just don't need to talk about it because I can't really say anything about it that I haven't already said, firstly. And secondly, everything else is a spoiler. And it's not going to satisfy anybody. The people who really want it now just want the whole thing now. They're not going to be like, alright, I'm calm now that you've told me there's some little thing that Connor's going to do this episode. No. Hold on, I just need to go pee, so I'll be right back. Boing, 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 boing. Alright, I'm back. Pee break, pee break. Wash your hands, kids, if you ever go pee. If anybody had a pee break with me, because I don't know, I feel like someone might have. Don't forget to wash your hands. Hello to everyone from the Discord. Woo! Yeah, Discord Pride. A&D. Sun Tzu, the art of chilling. The ceremonial piss. The golden shower. Hey, have you played the game based on the SCP-3008 Infinite IKEA? Conker's Bad Fur Day. I haven't played the first one, but I've seen like bits of it when it was getting developed, and it looked really interesting. And I have played Conker's Bad Fur Day a very long time ago. I'm not sure how I got away with playing it. It was very vulgar. My parents were not into that. Hey, there's Guto. Hey, Guto. Pineapples on tacos, yum? It's an upsetting thing to hear. Hope you have a good stream, dude. Gotta make Swamp Game. Hey, you go make Swamp Game? You go make Swamp Game. I cannot physically pee that fast. Oh, I'm sorry, Sammy. Maybe I can teach you. I can't find the Discord link. It should be in the description to this video. If you get timed out, it's because you're being a bigot or bringing up drama or mentioning really bad shit or asking when the new episode is. Don't do those things. Yeah, fair enough. Just don't be hateful or impatient. Just try and align yourself with the chill vibes. Like, I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm not telling you how you should be chill. If you want to be chill, just align yourself up with people who are chill. And that's kind of what I'm trying to provide, is like, I'm trying to be chill. You know, sometimes I might get excited over like a joke or a concept or something, but really, most of my energy right now is just chill. Hey, what's up, Nikita Frolov? I have an idea for the next show you can do. You're really good at monsters, so maybe a show about people who get trapped in another world where there's monsters who rapidly evolve. Rapidly evolving monsters. Kinda like that idea. I don't know if I'll do it, but that is a nice thing to think about. Boiling pizza. Boiling pizza is the only valid way of cooking it. Oh my god. I'll fucking puke. Weed is now decriminalized in America. Fuck yeah. It should be legalized though. So people don't get, you know, shitty things in their buds. Bro, that's like a fucking pog, bro. Can we call you a cutie, or a buddy, or a pal, or a cutie? You can call me all those things. Whatever feels right to you. Whatever feels right to your heart. Align soft with chill vibes, turns into sea foam instantly. That's the goal. Hey Bong, what if he held hands? What if who held hands? What if he held hands with who? You changed my life, lol. Wow. That's a crazy cool name. And, I hope I change your life for the better. I don't feel like I am... I mean, I feel like I might have been, and my work might have been a catalyst for some people, but I don't ever claim responsibility for people's change, even if it's like, even if it makes me look good. I'm not going to claim responsibility. If you change, that's because you chose to go in that direction, and you made your life better, you know. And all change is kind of good in a way anyway, because you kind of need to set the context for when things get better, and sometimes that means things need to get worse. Bung, can I sit on your table? I mean, we don't have if you don't want to. I mean, you could if you can sit on my table. There's not a lot of room. I don't know how heavy you are. But I give you permission to sit on my table. Just for a bit. What if I held your hand? You held my hand? Oh my god. That's so gay. Did you know Mads Mikkelsen's name, Mikkelsen, name is Mikkelsen because back in old times in Denmark, your last name would be decided by your father's name, which is why Mikkelsen translates to Mikkel's son from Danish. Yeah, that's, I gathered that from Thor Odinson. Which is interesting. Does that mean if he wanted to, Mads Mikkelsen would call his son, I don't know, something like Magnus Mikkelsen's son? Or would it just be Mikkelsen? Apologies for asking, but when do you think we get the next episode? No need to apologize. It's just that I don't really have an answer for that. Like, I'm working on it. When it gets close to being done, I get an idea of when it'll finally be out. But until then, it's so far away that I just can't even predict it. And whenever I do, it adds this false sense of security, which inevitably changes my work pattern. Because I'm like, oh, it'll be done soon, so, you know, I don't have to do much. Or like, it's gonna take so long to be done, I'm so pathetic and terrible, and then the bad mood will just stop me from working, and it's like, no. So I just try and work as realistically and presently as I can, so that I can get the most work done each time that I do work. I don't want to change my expectations for that. You should name the episode The Magnificent Episode 8. No, I can't for many reasons. one, because that's not my format. I always have confinement, episode, number, and then the noun or pronoun based on whatever the SCP is that we're talking about. So this episode is going to be episode 8, The Salesman, because that's how I formatted all the other episodes. And also, Super Science Friends already did that gag, I think they did. Magnificent episode 8. How close would you say that you are? You see, that I that's the thing, I don't know. I have to get closer to the end for me to be like, oh, I'm this close now. I don't know where I am right now. It's just such a far away point in time. You know, it's still quite a way. Thank you, Orion, for being a little being a little gremlin in my chat. I love you. No, then it would be Madsen, since his first name is Mads. Oh, his first name, right. Interesting. So his name could be Magnus Madsen. And then his son would be Magnuson. What's the daughter? Hey y'all, Scott here. Hey Scott. I wish you a good day, Scott. Or night. Whatever you're doing right now, Scott. Please just have the best time of your life. Don't need to refuse contact to maintain social distancing. Use your big buddy brain vibes to create a telekinetic hand to high five with. That's what I do. Yo, that's what I do. Why people dislike this is so wholesome. It's probably because some people just want confinement and nothing else, and they think that I have it and I'm just hiding it or something. I like to think that there are some people who feel that way. Well, there are some people who talk to me like that way, where it's like I know you have confinement, just release it already. It's like I don't. Otherwise, I would have. What incentive do I have not to? Like, it's the main thing that I do in my life. You know? Like, if I'm not doing it, what the fuck am I doing? I'd be so fucking bored. Is everything I feel and see real? That's an interesting question. Hello from Germany. Oh, hey. Welcome to my stream, Johannes Life. Is everything you see and feel real? It kind of... Yeah, if you live strictly as a person who only believes in the material world, or validates the material world, then you will only see reality as either real or not real. But reality is a bit more complicated than that. It's a bit more of there are different kinds of reality. There are different levels of reality. So, like, for example, are my thoughts real? I can't see them, I can't hold them, I can't feel them, I can't taste them. None of my senses respond to them. However, if I have a thought and I bring it into the material world by acting upon that thought is still real. It just affected the real world. And then the real world also affects my thoughts. Like, I see things that happen in the real world and I react to it in my thoughts. And then that changes how I treat my body, how I treat myself, how I treat other people. So it stands to reason that there are different kinds of reality. They just have different rules, different layers of how much they affect you and what kind of way. No, but we know you're secretly done with all of them and you hate us and gay people. Shaking my head. All this after holding your hand. Are we living in a material world, and are you a material girl? Is that Freddie Mercury? Is that Freddie Mercury? No, nobody in these drawings. Oh, I guess the guy behind Mads Mikkelsen kind of looks like Freddie Mercury. It's like a disgruntled old Freddie Mercury. I'm going, but I'm still gonna be here. Be right back. Thank you, Nina. A marathon confinement last Christmas. I will be again. Oh, thank you. Our senses lie to us all the time. I would even say that from a strictly naturalist point, that all the things we see and feel are definitely not all true. That's true. I mean, they're all real, but they're not all true. As in, they're all happening, but you don't have to validate all of them. Have you had any cool or weird dreams lately? Thank you for the $5, Dan. Yeah, actually, not too long ago. Shut the fuck up, Orion. Not too long ago, last night, my dream is that I was traveling to Disneyland, and it turned out Disneyland burned down. And then I found out my family was also traveling to Disneyland, and I was trying to call them to tell them, no, don't come, Disneyland burned down. That's like the whole dream. Is me getting disappointed because somebody burned down Disneyland, and then me trying to save my family from that same disappointment. It's a really weird dream, but a weirder dream that I had is when I had a lucid dream, when I found out that I was asleep. It was really weird because, well, I tried the cool trick where you look for things with words in them and you couldn't read it. That was really trippy, because I thought it would be like in the movies where they were just rapidly changing between different letters and symbols, but it was almost like I just couldn't remember. It was like I was looking at it and I couldn't quite remember. But when I was looking at people's faces, their faces were kind of rapidly changing between different facial structures. And the scenery, like the environment I was in, was also changing in different ways. Like, everything was constantly fluid and moving. And that was quite interesting to me. That's kind of like the raw, that's a more real plane of reality than regular dreaming, because you're aware of it. Would you date a VTuber? If so, which one? Well, I don't know. I don't really know many VTubers. I mean, I wouldn't be like against it, but you know, I don't know any. I dreamt that me and a class are trapped in something like Portal with somebody that have magic attacks but goes sick with time, and only the serum helped this people. And only the serum helped this people. You've always been my favorite philosopher, Bong. Oh, thank you. I mean, I would still say that there are probably better philosophers out there that I could point you at, but thank you. I appreciate that you like listening to me in this way. Have you ever collabed or voiced any characters in other shows? Also, what's your favorite meme at the moment? My favorite meme at the moment is still Butter Dog with the butters, or all of its variations, like ginger beer frog. But I have lent my voice to a few people, actually. You're just gonna have to scroll through my Twitter because I can't remember everybody I've given my voice to. But every now and then I'll tweet out like, hey, I was in this video, check it out. Lord Bung, you are a pickle. You're also beautiful. How do you combine these teachings when tripling along the New York sidewalk? I would imagine keeping your balance would be the hardest part. I'm a pickle and beautiful. I'm a pickle and beautiful. What was your most unforgettable dream you had? Bung, what would you do if I was a worm? Hey boys, it's fishing time. What was the other question? The most unforgettable dream I had? The most unforgettable dream I had is one from my childhood. And the reason it's so unforgettable is because I don't know how to explain it. It was what I would call a very psychedelic dream. Where everything was made out of the wrong material and everything was working the wrong way. Like, everything was just incorrect in how it was working. Physically, it just didn't make sense. Like, things were made, like, there were solid objects that were made out of things that are supposed to be liquid objects, and, you know, like, there were gaseous objects that it was all wrong. And it scared me and just sort of, like, messed up my mind a little bit as a kid. And I think that's probably because I was a very creative kid. Not necessarily that my creativity, I mean, that's a positive way of putting it. Another way of putting it is that I had problems. But they kind of go hand in hand, at least in my case. Because I thought the thing about reading in dreams was 100% true until I read something in a dream, and it pissed me so much that I've been lied to all this time that I woke up. So you're able to read something in a dream. That's interesting. I wasn't able to. Maybe I'll find a way. I think you shouldn't care what other people think. If you want to make another confinement, then make another confinement. If you want to make another Bunk Chronicles, then make another Bunk Chronicles. I do want to make another confinement, so I don't really care about what other people think until they start throwing these these sort of left field insults in there. Like, most of them are just like, hey, when's the next episode? It's fine, whatever. I don't really care. But sometimes it's just like, you're not releasing the episode because you hate your fans, or something, you know, just like they're trying to get me angry so that I respond to them or something. Worm bong, bong a worm. What are your thoughts on ants? Pretty good. Kind of like how they just follow each other, like a little colony of simple creatures that just know how to follow each other and do these simple tasks. It's kind of fun because it's like, you know, on the one hand they're all individual beings, but on the other hand they're kind of like one big organism that just kind of work on like a radio control almost kind of level. They're all just sort of using pheromones and whatever ants use to communicate with each other. You know, it's just like one big organism, but from our perspective, they're just little and simple and irrelevant. But they're their own life, you know? They're just doing their own thing, just like we're doing. Like, what we're doing isn't any more special than what ants are doing. Like, if we're talking about how special we are and how special they are, we are equally special in the sense that we are equally unique from each other and different. But it's not like our work is more important. We are simply doing our thing. They are doing their thing. Everything is simply happening in front of us, and we are all witnessing it. We as humans can witness it on a level where we can talk about it in great detail, and we can talk about how aware we are of it all, and ants can't do that. So I guess that's one thing that's pretty neat about us. Is that as much as we complain about humanity, like, oh, we're gonna miss being able to be self-aware. That's something that you don't get to have when you're dead, or when you're an ant, or when you're a tree. You don't get to be self-aware and commentate on it. I'm coming back here for now. The Discord server keeps talking about maths. Join at your own risk. Yeah, I'm gonna put a new rule in the Discord server. No talking about fucking maths. Stay the fuck away from me with that calculator. None of that in my server. Correction. You're not releasing the next episode yet because you have brain stinky. You're right. How long until the next episode of Danganronpa? Shut the fuck up, alright? Answer chats. They're pretty cool. One time I woke up laughing once because I had a dream about Chris Pratt with Johnny Depp's voice talking like an angry caveman, trying to tell me to do something I didn't understand. I think we've all had that dream, fellas. Okay, but what about Ants 1998? They were self-aware. One ant in particular was very self-aware, and he ended up destroying ant culture, which is ultimately, I guess, where humans came from. Is that one ant? Who's the character in Confinement series you most identify with? Well, I kind of identify with all of them in different ways. It's just that I sort of separated them into characters. You know, like Confinement, not to make it too deep, deep-ish, I don't know, but whatever. Confinement is just my brain, and I've just organized it in a way that's entertaining, that I think is entertaining. And that what I've learned from some people, what I learned from other people is entertaining, that I resonate with, that I think is entertaining as well, but, you know. So I identify with all of them. There are some that I wish I could have done better, but it
I do really identify with all of them. Can Connor solve world hunger? He wouldn't be able to figure it out. Like, you and I know what you're talking about. Like, he could just create human flesh infinitely. Eating human flesh is super risky, though. There's a much higher chance of getting diseases from a creature more similar to you than a creature who is so alien from you, because bacteria and diseases that follow a certain biological pathway are more likely to be deadly to you because it's the same system that you're eating. So you better take care of your food just as much as you take care of your body if you're going to start eating humans. And if it was legal and moral, which I'm not sure it is. I don't think it's either. Used to animate and was by no means good. I completely understand. It takes a long time. You keep doing you, man. Take your time with it. The quality shows. Also, sorry for the long typing on my VR. It's all good, dude. You're on your VR? Are you watching the stream on VR? I'm sure you just have the stream open while you're in your little digital world. I identify with the most with the Psychic Octopus. Best character, honestly. I think your writing peaked with Psychic Octopus. Thank you. I appreciate that. Try walking around your neighborhood to build up leg muscle. I do that. Don't worry. Maybe if you stand Kokichi. Stop. Stop, Orion. Why not bake the bodies, then use that as fertilizer? Man, why are we talking about cooking human meat? Oh, right, because I think I brought it up. Oops. Can clones try to become you? Well, who are you? You know? If there was a clone of me, it might be really disorienting because I want to feel significantly unique as a human being. But really, what is that feeling? It doesn't prove that I am an individual. It just proves that I feel like I want to be an individual, you know? Like, that's what we mix up our brain signals so often. Like, we're angry. We think, I am angry, therefore somebody wronged me. No, it just means you're angry. It could be that somebody wronged you, possibly. You need to find evidence for that to prove to yourself. But it could also just be that you're angry. It could also be that you want to control somebody. That somebody's acting in a way and you're like, well, I want them to act differently, and I am frustrated, you know. Like, it doesn't mean anything that we feel like individuals. It just means we feel like we're individuals, and it serves the ego to think that we're special. It serves the ego to think that at the end of the day, I gotta survive and everyone else has gotta die. Well, if everybody else has to die for me to survive, then so be it. Like, no, that's what the ego wants, because that's how we survive. It doesn't mean it's true or accurate or right, you know. Getting a major in philosophy to think deeply about unemployment. Well, neither of those things apply to me. I did not get anything in philosophy classes. I didn't go to any. And I am working from home. Unless you were roasting yourself. Sorry, I thought you were roasting me. Why is it all about me? Oh, sorry. You like the Pitto? I don't know what the Pitto is, sorry. You all seen that video about the Redditor that ate his own foot? Oops, that's me. Human bad, become astral entity. Human not bad. It's just that the place that we're in right now, that we all happen to be in together, is this realm of humanity. Most of the time, if I'm angry, I blame myself. Yeah, see, that sucks, I'm sorry. Not sucks as in like you suck, I mean like it sucks that that's the way that your mind is right now. I'm sorry, Sammy. It gets really rough out there. Homestuck reference in confinement. No, day ruined. You know the funniest part, Indy, is that Orion put it in there and I didn't even fucking know. I thought like, oh hey, it's a cool design. And I want to make like a video, like one of those like intense documentaries of just like I got I got fucked over by a company or something, and now I'm like living out of a caravan. But it's just me in a dark room, and it has my name at the bottom of the screen. It's like, hey, my name's Danny. I'm a YouTuber. No, Ryan put a Homestuck reference in my show. Like, just really sad. Start crying and just like, I just want to put this chapter in my life behind me. You know? There's a difference between hand painting and block painting. I'm in art class. I genuinely have no idea. Like, class is almost like an antithesis to art. So I won't remember the names that people have given things, given the techniques. You can just discover the techniques yourself through, holistic means, and find out what you like. That's how I animated. That's how I did my thing. But I understand you're in class, so there's a curriculum. You have to sort of follow that. All hail Lord Bung. Thank you, 501st. Now, you go execute Order 66, my man. The human being that cut out hearts and makes sure the sun came up the next day is the same species that talks about philosophy on live streams. Really? Are you sure about that? I don't think... Because the only thing that I can link between the two is that they were probably creative. I think it takes a lot more than creativity to actually murder somebody. Orionic exposed. I think it probably takes... well, I guess it depends on what you think is the problem with cutting somebody's heart out to make sure the sun comes out the next day. I would say the problem is the tendency to murder, not the creativity behind, what if this happens when we do this? I think it comes more from, like, I want this to be true, and therefore I make it true in my head because I'm a violent person, like, we create our own realities, and the person who wanted to create a violent system in their religion or their spirituality or their philosophy is somebody who was already violent seeking, somebody who already committed acts of violence on themselves or others, and thought that, well, it only makes sense to me that an act of violence will do this, It's an unfortunate thing that happens, but I'm the kind of person who can't even look at a knife for too long without feeling uncomfortable, so... How's your day been, Bung? It's been okay. It's only like morning though, so, day is still young. What do you think of gay people? Also, I'm very happy for this. What do you think of gay people? What do I think of myself? I don't know. I love myself. Not in a way where it's like I love myself above everyone else. Like, no, I love myself as if I were a member of my own family. If that makes sense. And I also happen to love my family in this metaphor. Because, I mean, your question was what do you think about gay people? I was trying to say that I was gay. Well, I'm bi. Saying gay is just easier. Dance till you're dead. Amen. Does anyone know why episode 4 was restricted? It might have been because the song I used in that episode, which I really wanted to use, was an Arctic Monkeys song, and so it might have been restricted for some people. Love you too, Pronkster. We all have a corrupt seeds inside. Some let it grow and consume us. Yeah, but you just have to be aware of it. Love wins. Like, you can have darkness in you, but if you pretend that you don't, that's how it takes over. Or if you pretend that it is stronger than it actually is, it takes over. If you make it an enemy and fight it every day, it might take over because you'll just get tired. Whereas if you accept that it is there and you learn to love it, then it disintegrates. That's the fun little trick of the universe, is that you kind of have to accept things before they go away. Otherwise, they stay around longer. That doesn't mean embrace darkness and become darkness and live in darkness and become evil. It just means accepting that you have this side of you that, for example, I don't know, likes making fun of people, or a side of you that likes, that laughs uncontrollably when people get hurt on America's Funniest Home Videos, or a part of you that really likes getting into arguments online, or a part of you that, I don't know, maybe a part of you from your past that you're trying to forget. If you're trying to pretend that it never happened, or you're trying to forget it, or you're trying hard to get rid of it, it's not going to go away. What's your political view on hot dog water? This is hot dog water, so. Tastes like sad pig. The main difference, I think, between us and ancient Aztecs is culture. A series of memories that gather together and shift the way that we teach the next generation, until we look at knives and get uncomfortable. That's true. There is an enormous difference. Bong baby, how you doing? You still up with the moist brain, Daddy Alan Watts? Good, love to see it. I'm always up with the moist Daddy Alan Watts. Does anyone ever pretend to be a Neanderthal sometimes? Pretend. Being bi would be dope. You could get down with anyone. You could. It doesn't mean that you do, though. It just means that you could. Do you know JoJo's Bizarre Adventures? I haven't watched it, sorry. What's the most interesting paradox you have heard? Oh, shit. Oh, my God. My big journey into spirituality was finding out that all truth is paradox. And that fucked up my world so much. Because it wasn't just like I was told it and I was like, whoa. It was, I experienced it. I experienced that all truth that I had in my body was equally untrue and equally a paradox, and that every paradox in reality can be equally made whole into truth. And when I found out that that was true, it suddenly made sense to me that the only true thing in the universe is that everything changes. So everything's a paradox. So let me, for example, let's think of one. Is there such thing as you? Do you exist? Well, on one hand, you do exist because you've decided that you exist. You've decided that this flesh body with a brain inside and bones and organs that hangs out with other flesh beings that are protruding from this organic ball on a big rock called Earth is an individual, because you talk to other similar looking flesh beings and decided that there were other versions of you. And that everything was only relevant in relation to you. But that's just because that's what your brain has a tendency for thinking, as a survival technique. But are you an individual? Are you a being? No. You are part of this big organism that you could call Earth, that you could call the universe, because everything affects each other. Everything is connected. Everything relies on each other and depends on each other to exist. And because we have consciousness, we've decided that we're individuals in this world, that we are fighting this world, that we are bargaining with this world, that we are benefiting off of this world, rather than the truth, which is, on the other hand, we don't exist, and that reality is a thing that is happening in front of us. It is just happening. And because we have this thing called consciousness, we're able to see it, and we think that therefore we're disconnected from it. Your voice sounds very nice. You should do voice acting. Thank you. I do, but thank you. I mean, that was probably a joke. You probably knew that. Are you also animating for Super Science Friends, or do you just get inspired by their art style? The second one. I think, therefore I am. Yeah, only your thinking is what's keeping you an individual. In reality, we're at the same time nothing. And that's fine. That's fun. That's true. I mean, it's fine because it's just been true this whole time and we haven't been suffering from it. The reality is that sometimes things don't make sense. And we try to put it in its little logical place in this universe we've created, like a big Jenga tower. But things have to not exist for things to exist. So there is an underlying lack of reality behind all of reality. Because we see things disappear all the time. You know, people die, people go away, relationships change, our minds change, our views on things change, and suddenly the world changes around you because of this. And we know things disappear and die because we have to understand that nothingness exists for thingness to exist, which means everything is temporary. I'm gonna dip out because I want to listen to my jams on the porch like an old man. No worries, Taze. You go do what you gotta do. The universe is a frog. Yeah, your mommy's a frog. The trailer has 1 million views. That's insane. It's like that's a movie trailer views. Is that true? My latest trailer? It's pretty cool. Need to film my ApqpYqXv8Q and hopefully you'll still be here when I get back. Yeah, no worries, Orion. You do what you gotta do. Hey, relentless streamer. You kind of sound like the main character from Confinement. Thank you. You deserve so much credit and following. I don't know. I appreciate that you think so. I don't think that's necessarily true. Alright, it's been an hour. I guess we've got an hour left. Got 1 more hour of this. Just vibing out. Make this a podcast. Yeah, maybe. What kind of music do you listen to, Mr. Bung? Right now, it's Superorganism. If you check out that band, it's just some kind of like alternative music. I don't know how else to put it. It's just alternative. Hey Bung, I know this is a long shot, but I would love to talk to you one-on-one about different things, and I can help write or come up with ideas for new strange stuff. That's very vague. I'm not sure what you'd use that for. Is Lord Bung the smartest person of all time? No, I'm not. I ain't. Love the good time image, Drew. Do you sell prints or something of it? No, but I totally should, shouldn't I? You look like Lars from Steven Universe before he turned pink. What if you don't think you exist? Well, if you don't think you exist, in the material world, in the world of rationality and science and, you know, Western sensibilities, you will be pathologized and you'll be put in a neat category that says that you have a mental illness because you do not fit well in the society and its value structure and its idea of what reality is. But that's always been the case. It doesn't mean it's true, and it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It just means you have been pathologized, which is just being labeled with a mental condition. It doesn't mean that there is objectively a problem with you. It just means that society doesn't allow you to fit in a way that other people get to fit in so easily. Because pre-society, somebody with a mental illness would be somebody who, you know, at the very least they are just the way that they are, and at the very most there is something spiritual about them. Something, maybe they're closer to God, maybe they're speaking with spirits, maybe they're fair, you know, whatever. It's all just different interpretations of the same thing. I love Superorganism. Hell yeah. Yeah, I like gorillas too. Gordon Ramsay gone AWOL. Gordon Ramsay gone AWOL. You gonna make more merchandise? It's coming. My merchandise lady is very passionate about getting this stuff out. So they're currently making more tarot cards with confinement characters. So that's gonna be exciting. You've seen Dream Corp LLC. It's an Adult Swim show where Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite stars as a super smart scientist who helps people by entering their dreams. That sounds interesting and kind of familiar. I can confirm that I exist. Yeah, you can confirm that you exist to you, but who are you? You have an incentive to believe that you exist. You have no incentive to believe that you don't exist. You know? Radical acceptance versus existential crisis. Yeah, exactly. You can... If you want to believe that you exist and therefore you deserve everything that you've set up for yourself to deserve, then that's up to you. That's the game you're choosing to play in this reality. But if it's unrealistic to how reality actually is, you're going to suffer. Or if it is unrealistic to how it is in the moment. Every moment that you are applying this logic into reality and you end up suffering, then something is wrong. You know, or at least you might feel like something is wrong. That's because all truth is a paradox. You don't actually exist. There is just a happening. There is a happening. You know, where everything is just happening. There is no you versus them free will. There is just this accumulated working togetherness, this big network of reality that is fluid and changing, and you get to make an effect on that, but you can only truly make an effective change in reality if you accept that you don't really want it that much. You aren't trying to force anything. You aren't trying to force anything on anybody. You aren't trying to push your own reality into the real world. If you just do in this calm way where you have preferences and you have tastes and you just do things calmly like it isn't a big deal, it comes out quite effectively. But if you're trying to force it and you think like, well, I'm an individual, I need to keep doing things or else I'll disappear. I need to keep doing this and that or else my idea of myself, my identity, my self-pride, whatever, all this bullshit that you feel like you need to fill in that void. But that void is who you are. You are that void. I don't really have an actual choice if you exist or not. Well, you do have a choice. It's just that you don't have to force anything. What is the philosophy of chilling? There are a few philosophies of chilling. I mean, there are quite a few stories that I can tell that lead up to the philosophy of chilling, but that's all I can really do because I can't tell you what to do because there is no universal way that gets everybody to chill out. All I can tell you are stories of what people have done in the real world, or supposedly stories of what people have done in the real world. And you can try and figure out how it's relevant to you, which is why stories work so much, so easily in culture, philosophy. I do need a pee though, so I'm just gonna go pee real quick. Okay. Yeah, but bong, bro, what do I even do with uncertainty? I don't know if anything I do is real. Then any way I react may not be real, so why act? Maybe you act because it's real, you think therefore. No, I act because it's fun. There is no other reason why you should be acting, in my opinion. There's no reason why you should be doing anything if you don't want to do it. And that doesn't mean do everything that you impulsively feel like doing at every single moment. It just means doing what you know is something that you want overall, essentially. And there are rules in the universe to help sort of mediate that. It's like D&D, you're just doing what you want anyway, but the number rules in the universe will sort of even it out in a way. So you do something with the expectation that it might not work, but I'm going to try it anyway. You don't do something because, like, this needs to happen. This needs to work, you know. I need to get this done. I need to, whatever. That's just something to make you feel like shit. And it's something that'll add anxiety to you, and then it'll be something that will come up later in the form of anxiety, stress, anger, frustration, confusion. You don't need to use those things. It's not the only way to live in reality. You can also just do things without thinking about them because your brain is already thinking about them. Your existence doesn't depend on your mentality. It depends on your presence in this reality. Yes, absolutely, 100%. How aware you are, how much you give into awareness. You know, how much you allow things to be seen instead of you trying to enforce your will onto reality. Does the urge to be exist? One day I'll fix that. One day I'll get a robotic bladder. What time is it for you, Lord Bung? It's just hit midday. I don't know, Dan. Maybe. Your art is cool. Thank you. Look up the Moby Huge. The Moby Huge Olympics? What is this? Oh, are you talking about Critical's giant plastic wiener? How's Alfred? Alfred's doing lovely. I just had him on stream earlier. Hey, Jess. This is my merch. This is my merch lady. That's Orbong is a Warhammer orc, his name. His way of speaking, him thinking stuff into reality. JKJ. I have a problem with philosophy. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's just thinking about things outside of the box. It's fine. Couldn't hurt you. You know, unless you have a very sensitive, fragile mind that reacts to existentialism pretty terribly because maybe you have a schizoid personality or something. Which isn't an insult. It's just, if you want to avoid that, maybe this stream might not be so great. I don't know when it's gonna come out. Sorry, Rapid Delinquent. It's just gonna have to be patient. Sorry, Driftwood. Thank you for the $3, but I don't know when it's coming out. I'm still working on it. Well, I would have expected more people watching us stream. I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. I believe socialism incorrectly is the best system, but it's possible to implement, as there will always be those who want to gain power, even if it hurts people. There always will, and if you feed into a system of control, then that's what you're going to get. And if you want to put all your chips into somebody else who is equally controlling, it's not really going to be any better. But at the same time, it's all very, 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 very contextual. There's no government system that works perfectly. You kind of have to know what the people are like in your country, what the problems are like, and what the solutions could be. Why is there a cat behind you? Whoop! Could you imagine? Well, now I'm double checking. Am I not my brain, or at least part of it? Also, magnificent creation, sir. Thank you for further enriching the world. Thank you. No worries, Kaufman. I'm not saying that you're not a part of your brain. Like, the brain is a tool that you use in the same way your arm is a tool that you use. But you are not your brain. You just identify strongly with your brain when you're caught up in thought. In the same way you get identified with a task when you're in the task. When you're really in a task, like, I don't know, let's say you're washing the dishes and it isn't terrible. Just, you know, fucking imagine. But, hey Dan, thank you for the $10. Something's more inherently abstract, or is everything inherently abstract, or are we simply assigning more meaning to things the more we're exposed to them? I think if things can benefit us on the physical plane, we end up assigning more meaning to it. Well, I don't know if that's true. We end up assigning more meanings to it, but it doesn't mean that it has more meaning. If something ends up in our general proximity, we will give it labels naturally, because that's just what the brain does. It's just like it. One of my meditation teachers tells me that the brain secretes thoughts like the mouth secretes saliva. It's just its job. So don't get mad at the brain for doing its job. Just don't take it too seriously that it's doing its job. You know, your brain labels something. It doesn't mean it's true. It's the brain just plays word association games in its head. That's all it does. What's all this philosophy stuff, lol? It's just what we do here. Thank you, Jack Ben Chivenga. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Thank you for $5. Oh no. Astronaut better back up. What time is it for you again? It's 12 p.m. 12 p.m. Yeah, like midday, you know. What about your soul? Well, your soul is that nothingness inside of you, in my opinion. So behind all of these layers of what you might consider yourself, in the municipal, in the societal sense of what yourself is, you might think your body and your skin, you know, everything underneath your skin is you. Because the people in charge want to split you up in such a way where you feel like you are only in control of this, you only have right to this part of reality, which you might call your body. And you therefore have no right over anything else, and we have right over everything else. But what you are deep down, you keep peeling back the layers. Here's your body, your motor functions, your desires, your fears, your thoughts, your bodily sensations, your feelings, your brain. You peel all that away, and it's like an onion. There is no center. It's just made up of layers. And in the center, there is nothing. And that nothingness is like a black hole that sucks in reality. It is your soul. But it isn't like a soul, like a glowing, transparent version of what you look like now. It's just this thing that we can't really wrap our minds around because it is nothingness. We can't actually categorize. Like, it's hard for us to imagine nothingness. We imagine darkness, but that's not lack of reality, that's lack of light. You know, like, it's really hard to kind of grasp nothingness. And that's why I think it's our soul. Our soul is the universal consciousness that makes up everything behind reality, which is how we know reality exists, because things can only exist if things also don't exist, because otherwise where's the context for the existing thing? How do we know that it exists? It'll just be thing. It'll just be it. Everything is made up of polarities. Everything is made up of two things. You can split everything up into two things, and they'll be defined by how much one of those things exists and the other one doesn't. So, for example, heat and cold are only defined by each other. They can't exist individually in the void. They can only be defined by each other. If you come here for an answer about life, remember that everything I know you can conclude logically with time. I don't know more. Well, yeah, I don't pretend to know more. I'm not going to put that in though, because nobody reads the description. But I don't pretend to know more. This is something that I was sort of forced to confront when I was having a moment. I like your funny words, SCP man. Thank you. Do you think Socrates was a bottom since he disliked democracy and liked authority? I think he's a bottom. Yeah, he's probably a bottom. He's probably a little sandal licker. In the end of it, it doesn't matter what we do because we will never see things we did change or our current world, and people only do things to stop the inevitable, then only for us to be worm food. That's one way to put it, I guess. I'm not gonna judge. I'm so confused on what we're talking about. That's okay. It just happens. What if all reality is a lack of reality? Well, that's it. Because on the one hand, we know things are real, but we only know them because we have a context for a lack of reality. Because we have been non-existent before, and we will go to non-existence again. We know what lack of reality is, and we're afraid of it. So we define how great something is by how real it is, how authentic it is. It's not necessarily a good thing just because we feel like it is, though. To me, my soul is the very thing that exists as my personality. Yeah, but your personality changes, doesn't it? Your personality has changed so far, up to however old you are now, and it's going to change way more later on, you know? And that's fine. Change is good. Change is important. Change is the way nature is. And if you can't accept change, then you're going to have a very bad time being a thing that lives in reality. Ice still gets colder and absolute black or dark is still undercover. Yeah, but you would still look at the less colder ice and go, that one has more heat. Even if it doesn't have, even if it's not hot for us, it's a scale where one side is colder and one side is hotter. If you're on this cold scale and you just go back one bit, you are adding one bit of heat. You are not just, it's not just a different kind of cold. It's less cold, therefore more heat. Everything is made up of two things. Heat and cold make up temperature. Light and dark make up the color spectrum, just like all of things that we can see. Reality and nothingness make up reality, because reality is made up of things that last for a certain period of time and end up disappearing, end up dying, end up getting recycled. Concepts, thoughts, feelings, ideas, beliefs, people, countries, empires, whatever. They all exist for a bit and then they all disappear, and we are completely aware of that. It takes him a while to see the comments. Well, sometimes I'm just talking and I just want to finish my sentence. Howdy, Lord Bong. I just got back from a haircut. Hey, I hope it was a nice haircut. Oh, I mean, I hope you're happy with your haircut. That's all that matters, really. That guy Ace 1, I don't know when it'll be out. I'm still making it. Why are we getting deep? Why not? I believe we should do stuff for the masses. Whatever we do, we can only see what small thing we did not, what really happened. Over all like Rome never know that they would still be around till 2020. Sorry, bullish group, I have no idea what you're saying. I'm not sure how to read what you're saying. What happens when we die, my lord? Well, if you have the perspective of the only thing that matters is material gain, then death would be very terrible for you, and you would be very scared because you only believe that material gain is the only thing that matters. And it can feel like an altruistic and kind thing. You can make it sound like an altruistic and kind thing, that like, well, I need this material stuff so I can help people less fortunate than me who need material stuff. But if you only believe that material world matters, you're going to suffer when you die. Or you're going to have a hard time when you die. You might find out that there's a bit more when you're dying. Or maybe you might experience something in life that indicates that maybe the reality isn't so structured as you think it is. But when you die, it's just a change. It's just a big, big change. Death is not the opposite of life. It's just the opposite of birth. It's just one other end of the scale. You're just changing as a person. Your consciousness will change. The way you perceive reality will change. Doesn't mean it's worse or better. It's worse if you already believe that being human is the best fucking thing ever. And you didn't want to do anything else. You just wanted to stay human. But, you know, technically cold is the absence of heat. Yeah, okay, you get my point though. They only exist in definition of each other. Heat and cold only exist with each other. They can't exist individually. That's the point I'm trying to make. It doesn't matter who came first or how it is used by us as people. We're just people. Nothingness isn't a thing, it's the absence of things. Cold isn't an energy, but the absence of heat. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It is exactly what I've been talking about, that everything is made up of polarities. Everything only exists in context of each other. Everyone only exists in context of each other. Even if you don't know somebody, even if you never meet somebody on the other side of the planet, their existence has an incalculable effect on your existence. Everyone who has ever existed in history has an incalculable effect on your current existence in history. Everything is connected. Time is an illusion that separates everything into an order that we think makes things inevitably pointless because, oh, one day I'm gonna die. But why are we thinking so far in the future? Why are you thinking about your death, you know? Aside from the fact that I'm bringing it up. Hold up. Yeah, sorry, just setting my music up again. Continuing, death is not an opposite, rather an absence. Yeah, well, it's an absence of some things. It's an absence of your ability to think, definitely, because your brain will be gone. But your awareness, I personally think, continues. It just continues in a way that's less, I don't know, less intelligent, maybe. Because a plant still exists. It still has a consciousness of its own. It's just so unintelligent that we consider it less beneath us in a way, you know. Based on what we know, death is the absence of everything. Based on what our senses tell us, death is an absence of everything, because we think that our senses are true. We think that our senses are essentially true and stable and follow a very specific set of rules that we just trust somebody else has figured out for us already. But in reality, our senses fool us all the time. Our thoughts and assumptions fool us all the time. It's all kind of random, it's all kind of chaotic, and we make sense of it because there is an incentive for our ego to make sense of reality. Because we want to survive. That's all we care about deep down, right at the bottom. Evolutionarily, we want to survive. But if we understood that really there's nothing wrong with dying, it's like the most natural thing that every living thing has and will ever do. Some people consider me the total absence of smartness. Thank you for the $5, Jack, Pennsylvania. Same, though. Bong, legalize gay ghost marriage. I'll be the first ghost priest. The first gay ghost priest. Pain is a good teacher. It is. I mean, it doesn't mean go looking for pain. Just don't ignore it when pain does happen, because it's gonna happen regardless. Honestly, if there was one proper way of describing the universe, it would be that it is a giant why not sign. Yeah. It only exists because it can. The only other option is non-existence. And so non-existence can only happen because existence has to happen occasionally. You know? Otherwise it wouldn't be non-existence, it'll just be... I mean, what would it be? Things can only keep moving. Things can only fluctuate and move in this fluid way. So if non-existence has to happen at some point in time, whatever that is, then existence also has to happen. So the universe is in this constant state of nothingness, and then it creates thingness, and then it goes back to nothingness, you know, the Big Bang and then the Big Crunch. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. And we're just part of this big, crazy trip. Absence of one thing is the presence of something else. All things must exist in contrast with something else. Amen. Dan, thanks for the $5. What is the point of living if there's nothing at the end? Well, you see, that's a problem if you believe that the end justifies the means. But you can just have a good time now. You can just appreciate what is happening right now, because the only thing that is real is right now. The only thing you can change in reality happens, right now. So you can focus on, well, what does it matter if in way in the future it all results in this? That's a way of thinking that's been trained into you by people who want results and products and productivity and physical material things that prove your worth in some arbitrary way, and it's sidecarding with your ego who wants to feel significant. But that doesn't mean it's true, and that doesn't mean it's the only way you can feel happy and satisfied in reality. It only makes you feel like shit if you feel like you're going to lose. But what if it isn't a game of winning and losing? What if it's a game of having fun? What if it literally is just about having fun? Because in the end, we all lose anyway. We all die. So why not have fun now? And I'm not saying it strictly to just be hedonistic, but you can be wise about it. You can take everything that you've learned from life and create wisdom from it. You can process reality in a way where it's like, how do I make the most of this moment? And that doesn't always mean having a good time. It just means making the most of it. How do I learn the most from this moment? Why don't you take the curriculum of being a human? It's this beautiful game where you are born and everything is random and chaotic, and we try to make order to it, and we get addicted to the order sometimes, and we get into fights with people saying, well, my idea of the universe makes sense and yours doesn't. Would you believe death is a non-existence? I mean, you still exist, you just exist in a very different way. You exist in a way where from my experience, not of dying, but of having my brain shut down that one time, is that things are a lot less structured and orderly than you think they are. And I've been trying so much in my life leading up to that moment to believe that everything was strict and science was all there was and rationality was all there was, and everything was only meaningful if it had a practical purpose to it. If I could prove it to you. I'm only talk if I could prove it to you, you know, like it's not, it's a reductionist way of thinking, you know. You said it isn't about the destination but the journey. Yeah, absolutely. It's about the journey. It's about what's happening right now. Can we please talk about something lighter toned? I mean, you can suggest things and I might agree to them. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. I had a long 3-month episode of death anxiety after my 18th birthday. I don't know what triggered it. I just thought about death the second I woke up, but that was just the first 3 weeks. It can get rough out there, yeah. I mean, don't go actively seeking these things if you, just because you're anxious about them. But don't ignore it when it's happening. If you have a serious thingamabob. Hey, Thomas. Hey, what's up? Sorry, bush cutter. It is not done yet. Meditation is one way of altering perception. Yeah, it helps me. Well, it helps me calm down, but it also helps me sort of tune in with this ever-changing reality. Like, sometimes I meditate to the point where I find myself staring out at a wall, I just at a bunch of objects, and my ability to focus on the individual objects and sounds and feelings of my body are just sort of like rapidly changing between them. And it feels like I'm in a dream, like when I'm having a lucid dream and somebody's face is changing rapidly. It's kind of like that, except I'm using my sensory perceptions, and they're rapidly changing, which is quite interesting. How do you know we aren't living within a simulation? Well, we don't. But what does it matter? I don't think I've ever truly believed that there are any higher powers, more that the world is all chaotic and we need to give things meaning through how we perceive them. Well, the beauty of that is that you can give anything meaning, and it works. If you truly believe that something has meaning, then it does have meaning. And you might think that, well, I'm above that. I'm above those sensibilities. But then you fall in love, and then suddenly it's like, wait, I thought nothing had meaning. And then you might think that, well, the meaning comes from the person who is giving me love. There's something special about them, because our brain doesn't want to think that things are that chaotic, that the love is actually happening in our minds, and that we can conjure that anytime we want, and we can feel love anytime we want if we really tried. Well, if you really figured out how to. But yeah. Why do humans fear the unknown? Because there's no guarantee of repetition. If you look at the history of life on our planet, for billions of years, we survive only because of our ability to replicate. And because that's something that happened at the beginning of our planet, it's something that our genes believe to be true and good, to believe to be like the best way of existing, is to just constantly replicate and make itself the most dominant thing in its ecosystem. Does that mean that it's good to replicate? Not necessarily. It's just how we evolve to feel. So when we see the unknown, that is the opposite of a constant expansion of replication. Meditation makes you believe you can view things from a different perspective. Well, if you believe that you can view things from a different perspective, then you have viewed things in a different perspective. So it works. It's true. It's not a case of, I feel like I am floating. It's a sensation of, I am in a sensation. Right. I am, on one level, am floating. I had a dream where I did drugs. Oh, thank you for telling me. You guys are nerds, says CatBear6. Just got roasted. I've asked this before, hopefully you see it this time. What are your thoughts on Xavier? He's pretty cool. I don't know if we'd call that, but he hasn't, well, I haven't messaged him or anything, but I might. Something simulated any different than something that is real? What makes something real as opposed to it being simulated? Well, nothing does. Real isn't such a universally considerable thing. Real is anything that is happening. It just has its own different rule set. Like, whether or not it's real, it shouldn't be the question. It's, what are the rules in this reality? What are the rules in this version of reality? And how can I navigate them? And how can I have my best experience right now with what is happening right in front of me? Bong, can we go back to silly stuff already? I love your laughs. Well, then bring up silly stuff, and then I might respond to it. Bring back the monkeys walking. Oh, thank you for the $5 redacted 0912, but I just want to put my artwork up. I'm gonna go pee again because I have a baby's bladder. Yeah, so I guess I'm never having that fucking vegetable juice again. Because I just peed like 4 times in a row in this stream. Good God almighty. This is not supposed to be an insult, but is this what your content is now and should I go? Well, I mean, I'm going to be streaming. I'm going to be uploading confinement, but because streaming is a weekly thing and confinement takes a long time, you don't have to watch my streams. You don't even have to be subscribed to me. You can just leave. I'm not gonna be hurt by it. If you want to throw an insult at me, I might be hurt by the insult, but you haven't. If you don't want to see my streams, that's fine. You don't have to be here. It's okay. It truly is okay. And then you can just come back and watch the episode when it's up, or you just whatever. I don't know. Reality is relative to the person who perceives it, just like color and how everyone sees it differently. It is the same with what goes on around you at any given time. It is. What you see is normal. We all have these assumptions of what normal is and what reality is, but really those people who get so defensive about what they think reality is are people who haven't quite deconstructed their reality just to see if it was true enough. Pretty sure we could also be living on a single cell, and that cell is our universe, and we're just too small to really see this. Yeah, I mean, it might as well be. On one level it is, because a cell is just a thing made up of systems, and so is all of the universe. The universe is just a set of systems. There's just a vast swath of nothingness filled with these little dots of reality that we call suns and planets and nebulas and whatever, it's just... They all interact with each other eventually. And they have interacted with each other in the past. So everything is connected into this enormous sort of megazord of life, of matter. Bung's pissed 3 times on this stream. Let's set a record and go for 10 times. Just, like, for the last half hour, just pissing 10 times. Every 3 minutes. What's a cute, non-important detail in confinement, if that makes sense? A cute, non-important detail in confinement. Well, all of the cuteness is important. I like putting in little details, like the way that Natalie holds Connor's hand and rubs her thumb on his thumb. Like that, I like that. That's something I don't see too often, and definitely not in cartoons. Bung, what color was your pee? It was what? It was. I was gonna say white. No, it was clear. It was white. It was just cum, just a stream of cum. No, it was clear. So I've been good. I think it's just in reaction to this very it has apple, pineapple, orange, and carrot in it. It's mostly fruit juice actually. Wow. You get a better balance. Just being and existing and living in the present moment instead of getting hung up and trying to understand why I do things in my brain makes me feel so much better about living day by day. Thanks, man. Hell yeah. That's how every other animal lives, and they're way happier than all of us, except for the ones who are obviously depressed. But really, the animals who are depressed, they tend to be depressed because we've put them in a situation where we have decided that they are depressed. Like a zoo, like a really small zoo. Some shit like that. Boy, how high are you? I'm actually I'm not really high at all. I woke up a few hours ago. I didn't smoke because I don't like doing morning smokes. Unless there's like some special occasion, I guess. Cyclic universe or infinite universe. I don't see why they're exclusive to each other. If it's a constant infinite cycle, is it not oh, sorry, you said a finite universe. No, I think cyclic universe. Hello, I'm tuning in to stream for the first time. What else are you working on aside from confinement? I apologize for my ignorance. No ignorance. Ignorance is welcome here. Just rudeness isn't. Ignorance is fine. Pin, pineapple, apple, pin. Okay. Alright, Thomas. What else am I working on? Well, it's just mostly these streams. I have quite a few ideas for videos, but leading up to working on them is a little difficult because I'm quite busy with confinement. But I have enough time to do artwork. So like here's 4 pieces of artwork I made in the past. I'm a fan of. There's a movie Moonlight. It won an Oscar a couple of years ago. Good Times, really good. Definitely should watch that if you haven't already. Under the Skin's a great horror movie. If you're into horror, the soundtrack's fucking incredible. Scarlett Johansson's in it. And you have Mads Mikkelsen and Yachten, or The Hunt in English. It won the Cannes Film Festival 2015 or 16, I think. Definitely all worth checking out. Oh, thank you, PugChamp. Yeah, my injury's fine, but I do find it hurting when I sit down for too long. I don't really know if it actually does, and if it's related to the injury, or if this is just kind of a normal thing that happens when you sit down too long. I thought I heard Minecraft music. No, I just have this looping video of Homer Simpson with this lo-fi music playing in the background, essentially. You gonna make a season 2 of Confinement? I hope so. I'd like to. Yo, Bung, can you help me understand a dream? Well, I won't be able... I don't think there's much I can really... Because the only thing I can do is perceive, based on my experience, what I think that dream means. Only you can do that to yourself as well. Everything you say is lowering my serotonin significantly. Is that right? Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way. I don't know what it is that I'm saying that specifically is lowering your serotonin. But if that is the case, you don't have to be here. I won't be offended if you leave. Alright, you go get your food, Mr. Payday. How much progress do you have left to complete the episode? Also, great work. I've been binge watching a lot of episodes. Thank you. Well, right now I'm still finishing assets and bodies, but it's getting to the lower end of the list of things that I need to draw right now, and I'm still storyboarding. I finished. I've gone past the halfway point with storyboarding, but I decided that I wanted to, because it doesn't really matter which order I do it in, I decided I want to keep drawing assets, because I have to use those, and I have to give them to my co-animator, so he can animate with them. So still around there, still around like the middle act, the second act of the whole thing. It's been a year since the last episode. Yeah, I know. It's been a bit crazy for a few months. In the middle of that, I ended up in a very dark place where I was non-stop taking drugs and I was afraid for my life. I know this is very dark, but you know, we talk about heavier things on this stream, so I don't really care. But I was in a very bad place, and I thought I was working hard, but really I was not. I was mostly just in my bed, depressed and crying, and trying to distract myself from these feelings. And work wasn't a very good distraction. Now I'm good. I'm good now. Like, you don't have to worry about me now. But for a very long time, between the last episode and now, the majority of that was full of very, very, very bad lifestyle choices. But it's all sorted now, and I've been working pretty consistently on confinement for the past few months. So. If you want like a proper timeline of like me working on this episode, a big chunk in the middle would be cut out because of a bunch of drama and a bunch of work problems and a bunch of personal problems. A part of it was personal, a part of it was somebody who I hired who I'm not sure how much information I can about what happened, but I don't know if I have the right to tell you what happened. Can you launch Kickstarters? I have a Patreon. That's doing just fine for me. I mean, I don't like sharing these stories because most people don't really seem to care. But I'm kind of expecting that because most people aren't here for me. Most people are here because they want updates on my show, and they like my show, and that's flattering to me. It's not like a dehumanizing thing. I'm just using this opportunity to talk about the things that I like, and connecting with some people who like what I say, or who like what I say in a way, not agree necessarily, but who just like talking about these things. It's just kind of fun. It's also like touching base with the fans, letting them know that, it's coming, it's on the way. How's your day? It's a fun mix of like a little bit of disappointment, but a lot of fun. But that's kind of reality, isn't it? You set up these expectations, and every now and then they have to fail. But it's okay, because it's not about that. It's just about having fun. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to give off vibe-wise to people watching. Thank you, Daniel Ma. Thank you, Indy. Do you live in Australia? Yes, I do. Hope you and everyone else have an amazing and great day, and hope you make more art, get better during these dark times. Thank you, bro. Oh wait, no, I think you just posted that twice, and I think I just read it twice. Alright, Mr. Payday, glad that you have your nutrients. Yes. Like, I just come out about, like, my suicidal history, and then I just see, like, 3 different comments of, like, yeah, but when's the next episode, though? See? You see what I mean? You see the incentive for me not wanting to talk about it? It's just that people come off as sociopathic on here. Even if they're not trying to be. It comes off that way, How'd you break a tailbone? There's a video of me telling people how. I just fell down some stairs, I was running down some stairs because I was an idiot, and I fell down. Went to the hospital. But I just want to say your work and drive to improve yourself as a person is really inspiring. Your work inspired me to write for the wiki and work on myself as a person. Well, there you go. I hope that's going well for you. Daniel, is that your brother? Is what my brother? Is who my brother? You just said that. Oh, do you mean, is Daniel my brother? No, Daniel is my name. Daniel Marr, I don't know who Daniel Marr is, if that's what you're talking about. Or Daniel Loeb. A lot of Daniels here. Black holes consume matter. Do you believe in their theoretical opposite called white holes? White holes to me sounds like an explosion of reality. Like the compressed reality exploding out into like a greater space of reality. I don't know, probably. I don't know if they would. I don't know. I don't really know what they would look like. To me, in my mind, the opposite of a black hole would just be like a Big Bang, like an explosion, like a smaller Big Bang. These streams are dope. I love hearing from you and all of your philosophy talk. I'm sorry you went through that dark period, and it's wonderful to hear that you're doing better now. Thank you, Clockwise Con. Appreciate that. Do you use the theories on the confinement subreddit? I don't use them. Some of them get pretty close. And then I'm just like, uh-oh. But most of them are just like, oh, no. I look at them sometimes, but I don't use them. I'm my own writer. Just chilling, playing Minecraft, playing all the mods 6 on Minecraft. Damn. That sounds like fun, actually. Thank you, Snick. What microphone do you use? It's this Beringa one. I don't really know what it is because it was gifted to me by my old housemate, I think. Or maybe they didn't gift it to me, but they told me to buy it. They said that this was a great one. Like, okay, whatever. Just got it. I just trust him because he's good at audio. There's definitely people who care about how you're doing. Sadly, a lot of your fans appear to be impatient currently about the content, not the person who makes it, which sucks, but oh well. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the world we live in. We live in a world that in the past 100 years have prioritized production above connection with people. I know it sounds like some real hippie shit, but it's true. We are an aberration right now. We are actually the weird ones because we want products so much. That we judge everything based on how efficient and how quickly it comes, you know? That this gets 0 stars because my app took too long to whatever, you know? It's just an attitude that has been developing the past 100 years. And it doesn't, I don't mean to say that there are products I don't like. I love a lot of products and I love a lot of technology. But I think the direction that they are going in, the direction that we're focusing our energy into is a greedy one. It's a selfish one. Like, well, it's about time I deserve something good on whatever. Just ego talk. I'm going down the path of suicide. Have any advice besides don't be sad? Not really. I mean, I don't know your life. You are doing your thing. You've gone through your own trial and errors and you've figured out your own things, how to deal with it. I don't really know. I can only tell you that I was on a suicidal path for quite a while. And I had to figure out for myself that what I truly was doing, which was way more destructive and crazy than I felt like I was. There are a lot of things you can live without, is probably my only bit of advice. You might think that your life is only worth something because of all of these little details about what you own or what's in proximity to you, of what you have an ability to do, but you can live without all of those things. I'm not going to stop you if you want to keep thinking a certain way, but I mean, the fact that you're asking shows that a part of you doesn't want to kill yourself. The fact that you're bringing it up, reaching out to somebody, shows that there are 2 parts of you, one that is suicidal and one that isn't. You can choose to inquire into that part of you that isn't suicidal, or you can choose to continue to inquire the part of you that is suicidal. Now that part is up to you. Which wolf are you going to feed? For me, I was sort of forced into realizing what was happening, so I can't tell you what to do because I don't have any experience in that way. So I guess I could say that I'm quite sort of like traumatized, but also really lucky for what happened to me. Do you voice in characters in confinement? I'm not sure if you're joking or not, but yeah, I voiced quite a lot of them. Connor, specifically. It's one of them. Do you believe in the phrase mind over matter? I mean, that's a very simplified phrase, but sort of. In that mind is a part of matter, and therefore it isn't a lesser version of reality than matter. It's just a different layer of reality, you know? A lot of things in the physical world only come into existence because it started out in the mind, whatever that is. So it seems possible to me that reality, physically as we know it, could have started out in some place called the mind, whatever that is, again. Mind and matter reach each other in so many ways. They affect each other, thoughts become films, ideas, actions, political movements, whatever, and then matter returns back to thought through interaction. So maybe they're one and the same in a way. Hi from Russia. Hey, Privyet, Sanya Antonov. Is just don't think about it good reasoning for stuff? I wouldn't word it that way. I would say if a thought comes up, just accept it. You don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to argue with it. You don't have to pretend it doesn't exist. You don't have to interact with it in a way that isn't going with the nature of things. And the nature of that thought is that it'll naturally disappear if you don't give it any extra attention. If a thought comes into your head, say a really bad thought you don't like, just go, this is just what I'm thinking about right now. That's just the thoughts that came in. It just flows through you. And then it goes out. It goes away. If you take it seriously, if you give it extra attention, if you let it become a big deal, if you make it a problem, then it will become a problem. That's the power of the mind. Whereas if you just let it flow through you, if you just acknowledge it, let it keep going. It's the same with feelings, it's the same with physical world interactions. Everything kind of follows the same rule of it only becomes a big thing in your life if you decide that it is a big thing. Damn, things went from history of trucks to suicide in 10 months. Yeah, history of cars. You all should have been calling suicide hotline after the second video. Did you read my idea? Keep asking the question you never answer. Well, I've responded to quite a lot of what you have to say. I'm not going to say everything. I don't have to. Second streamer to see me, so I hope you're happy and okay as you spread that from your amazing animations. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel Ma. Okay, it's just at the 2-hour mark, so I'm going to go head off now. But thank you. Thank you all for joining us. Joining me. Thank you for joining each other together today to see me a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna go head off. Go hang out with my cat and vibe out. See you, Thomas. See you, everybody. Goodbye. And Hare Krishna.